hear me?
We can. Welcome.
Thank you.
My name's Chris de Blasio with Showtime. We've met before. Thanks for being with us today. You're on with several members of the media. We'll take a few questions from them. Otto is 20 wins and 1 loss on his record. One very noteworthy loss on his record that we all recall. 13 knockouts, comes out of Sweden, living and training in New York City through the height of the pandemic, and a hot zone for a long while there. Going to take a few questions from the press. Don't be shy, guys. Put your hands up using that raise hand feature on the Zoom, and we'll take them in order. But Otto, I'd like to ask you, for starters, how this unusual training camp must have gone. I know there were some reports of your working out and training. Of course, you have been public about your positive test for COVID-19, but I do recall some reports about you training in your small apartment in New York City. Tell us a little bit about how unusual this has been.
Yeah, it's been very different. In the spring here, when New York shut down, I was training a lot in my apartment, and I was training outside with Joey in Central Park. So we did a lot of work there, and I had to pretty much build a gym in my apartment. So I bought a bike, I bought like a squat rack, a bench press, some weights and stuff. So I made it work for myself. And then for the last couple of months, we've had a private gym that we were working out of.
Yes, and your bout with COVID-19 and your mother as well, all symptoms are gone and you're feeling healthy. Your family too, I hope.
Yeah, I didn't have a bout with my mom, but with COVID-19, and it wasn't too bad for me. So it was worse for her. So I'm happy she's doing better. Her boyfriend had it too. He's doing better, and I'm good too. So that's good, of course.
Well, we are too. So thank you. Otto is going to fight Travis Kaufman in a 10-round heavyweight bout to open the show on Saturday night on Showtime. We're going to start with Keith Idek for questions for Otto Wallin. Keith, go ahead.
Hi, Otto. I hope you're doing well. What was it like for you at the hardest point of having COVID-19? Can you kind of take us through that, what it was like dealing with it?
It wasn't too bad for me. I just woke up one morning, had a little sore throat, but I slept with the window open, so I thought that was just why. And then maybe the next day I had also still a little sore throat and a light fever, and I was coughing and sneezing a little bit. And then I had that for maybe 3 or 4 days, and then I got better. And then all of a sudden I lost all my sense of smell and taste, and that was gone for about 10 days. But then it came back, and that was it for me.
So how long altogether would you say you weren't able to do anything because of COVID-19?
I was out for maybe a week and a half, but I started training before I got my senses back because I felt fine otherwise, and other than that I was fine. So we started back training, but very light, and because we didn't know if COVID affected me in some way. So we started very light, and it went well. Maybe the first week it felt a little strange in my lungs, like kind of like I had smoked a pack of cigarettes. But it all went well, and we were careful.
Have you had to take, and I know everyone's being very, very cautious up there at Mohegan Sun, and they've put all these protocols in place, but have you had to take extra precautions because you have tested positive? Are you more susceptible? Is there anything extra you've had to do?
No, we've been tested before in training twice a week. And then I just been, training. I've been back in my apartment, trying to isolate as much as I could, and my team also. So that's been good. And now we're here. We all tested negative, so we're on the right track.
I just have one last question for you, Otto. How much of this fight is about proving to people that what happened in the Tyson Fury fight I know you lost the fight, unfortunately, but that was real, that you're at that level. How much of this fight is about proving that?
I mean, it's not so much about proving that. It's just me going out there and being myself and take care of Kaufman. He's a good fighter, so I have to be alert at all times, but I feel like I'm better, I'm more young, fresh, and everything. I just feel like I'm a better fighter. So as long as I go out there, just be myself and leave it all in the ring, everything will come in place. And I think everybody will see that it wasn't a fluke, that it wasn't just one-time thing, and that I am good and I am for real.
Thank you, Otto.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Keith. We're going to take our next question from Alan Jones. Alan?
Yes, Otto, how are you? This is Alan from In the Ring with Al Jones.
Hey,
Glad
Alan.
to see you're doing well and healthy right now. My question is, exactly how do you feel about the state of the heavyweight division right now? And where do you see yourself? You know, how do you rank yourself in the division, in the heavyweight division? And do you see yourself going for a title anytime, you know, within the next year or so, or any time frame?
Yeah, hopefully I will get a title shot. I mean, I really did well with Fury and better than anybody has. So you can take that and look at it and say that I'm one of the top guys for sure. But where I stand, it's hard to tell. But I definitely think that I'm one of the top guys, and I'm happy to be back fighting again and can't wait to show that. And then, you know, the champions are tied up with themselves and stuff. So we'll see when it's going to happen. But I feel like after the Fury fight, nobody would have to take criticism for fighting me. So they know that I'm good, hopefully, and that they will give me another shot. I know Fury, he's always calling out a lot of guys, but he never mentioned my name.
All right, thank you so much, and good luck this weekend, Otto.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. We're going to take our next question from Marcos Villegas. Marcos from Fight Hub. Go ahead.
Thanks, Chris. Hey, Otto, good to see you virtually. I'm glad you're okay. I know I checked in with you when this whole COVID thing broke out. I want to know, now that you've had a full camp, have you noticed any difference having gone through COVID and going through a camp in terms of yourself physically compared to the camp you had before?
No change really. Yes, that I feel like I've got another year of training since the Fury fight, and I feel better. I mean, I'm in great shape. I feel like I'm developing all the time, and I'm always in training. So it's been good. You know, another year behind me and good training. So I just feel better, and I don't think COVID has affected me in many ways.
Okay, that's good to hear, because I know a lot of people have mentioned that they have like lingering lung issues after dealing with it.
No, not for me. Not that I know of, at least.
That's really good. You know, Otto, how's it like being there in the bubble? And how's this whole process been for you, like both emotionally and mentally?
Mentally, I mean, it's been different and it's been challenging a little bit, but I think that training has kept me on the right path all this time. And I'm always training, like I said. And when this happened, like we talked before, I made a gym at home. So I was always training. So I never really got off track. So it's been good in that way. I think that really training has saved me from that. So yeah, I just trying to make the most of each day.
And my last question, Otto, with the win over Travis Kaufman, you know, who do you have your sights set on in terms of the heavyweight title picture?
I would like to fight the champions, of course, and that's Fury and Joshua right now. Wilder's one of the top guys, see how he comes back. But definitely, that's the fight I really want. A Fury rematch or to fight Joshua. But then now it's important for me to stay busy, get this fight here, and take care of Kaufman. And then hopefully I'll be back in the ring very soon, maybe before the end of the year, if everything goes well here.
Okay. Thank you, Marcos. We're going to take our next question from Ron Goodall, Fight Hype. Ron, you'll unmute and go ahead with your question.
All right. This question here for Otto Wallin. Given your performance against Tyson Fury, how do you feel about taking that momentum and then going up against Travis Kaufman and then against other heavyweights in the future?
Yeah, I think I got great momentum from that fight because the world started noticing me, and I think a lot of people keeping an eye on this fight to see how I do. So it's important that like I said before, I just gotta be myself and do my best and leave it all in the ring, and then I think it all will come to in place. But it would be nice, of course, get a good win here and show everybody, like we said, that it wasn't a fluke that time.
Now, given that you wanted to show that it's not a fluke, how quick do you feel like you would have to take out Travis Kaufman to impress people to say that you're one of the top heavyweights?
I don't know. I try not to think about that too much. I just want to focus on our game plan and focusing on what I should do, and then the results come with it. So I just feel like I'm in great shape. I've had great sparring, and I'm very ready for him. And then, most important, get the win, and hopefully I can get him out of there.
All right, thank you. We'll look forward to see you go all in on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. We'll take another question here from Carlos Toro. Carlos?
Hey, Otto, thanks so much for taking time to talk to us. I know this year must have been this has been a very crazy year, especially for you. Does it feel that now that we're just days away from the fight, does it feel kind of a little bit more normal as far as, you're in the groove, getting ready for the fight, and just overall just having nothing, not worrying about what's been going on outside and just getting your mind ready for the fight?
Yeah, it feels great. That's finally something's happening. I finally get a fight. It's almost been a year since my last fight. So, it's okay to train, but I don't want to train all the time. I want to fight too. And finally, there's a fight and some action. I've been in New York and we've been on lockdown, so it's been kind of boring. But now finally we're here and the fight's around the corner.
How much does this fight against Travis Kaufman, does part of the motivation with, obviously 2019 has been a crazy year with the Nick Kisner fight ending the way it did after just one round, and then the Tyson Fury fight. Does getting finally that first win on U.S. soil kind of add a little bit more motivation into this fight?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that exactly, but I always want to win, of course. So the win is the most important, and I feel like I'm ready to get the win.
Obviously, I know you've been very anxious about getting back into the ring and everything. Have you, since the Tyson Fury fight, have you kind of had chances to sort of just look back on your last couple of fights and see what you could have done better, what things you could work on in preparation for this fight and just beyond this fight moving forward?
Yeah, I think that's a good thing when you fight the best, that you see what you do well and you see where you can improve. So, of course, I've been watching the fight and studying it, and just being in there with Fury and getting that experience, 12 rounds with the champion like that, is nothing better. And I need experience, and I want to stay busy. So that was great for me, and I'm sure that I've learned a lot that I don't even know yet. So I feel like I've improved, and we know I got to improve even more, but we're working on everything all the time. And so I feel like most important was that big experience that I got from the fight.
Okay, Otto, that was our last question for this session. We appreciate your time. And just to let everybody out there that's not here at Mohegan, it is quite boring, even here in preparations for the fights. The fights on Saturday and the weigh-in will be a little bit of spice, but we are holed up here in lockdown as well. So thanks for participating. Thanks to all the press for some great questions. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with Rolly Romero.